This is Daniel Steinberg, and you're listening to a new podcast about Drashos. Today we interview Rabbi comedian Mike Fine. Enjoy. I don't know how often you have a chance to give, let's say, a drush, like a formal sermon, but how do you approach it from, you're also a comedian and you know what it takes to manage an audience's attention and connect with an audience. And in your mind, is a sermon another performance for you, or is it?
So a great piece of writing advice about writing jokes that I heard Woody Allen say with Leonard Maltin in an interview. Go look it up. It was a recent one. And he said, when it comes to writing, like writing a book, I'm in the middle of writing a couple of books. He said, write the book for you, under the notion that it's not getting published. It's literally just for you, not for anyone else, and when you do that, and then odds are people like you as a, they could. So when I write, like, for example, eulogies, I write, how that person affected me, and I'll bring in things a lot of times from Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, or I'll bring in, things that relate to me, and I write it for myself. It's from the heart, and people relate to, it's a human emotion,
Sure.
So I'm writing from an emotional, not from an academic. People that approach it and, they want to start bringing in sources, and all these things, people ignore them. It's very, it's very boring, know.
Do you ever get, Do you ever get people who say that maybe your sermons are not as intellectual as they could be?
You want something that can move you. If all the person is doing is saying, "Oh, that was very academic. You failed. You're horrible at presenting your whatever." But then again, I don't know what the objective is. Is the goal, like, if you're giving a drush or a sermon? Like, what's the goal? To show off how much education you know, how many sources you could fit into one.
Or to make people feel smart about themselves.
To me personally, it doesn't do anything. I would tune out in 2 seconds. People relate to emotion. They want to connect to emotion. So even if you were there talking about bubble gum, but you do it in a way that, people could, there's some sort of emotional connection, something that people could relate to. People can't relate to, like, abstract facts, say, because it's said in I don't know, a book of Proverbs, this, that. Okay, it sounds great, but, it's not moving. Like when the Moshe Neveah said, don't judge Judaism by the Jews, that I'll remember for the rest of my life. That influenced me. That's,
Right.
Because there's an emotional component to it. There's something. It's the experience, the emotion. Like Shecky Green, for example. Seeing Kim is an experience. There's very few performers seeing Pat Cooper, seeing Gilbert Goff. Those were experiences. A lot of other performers, it was, okay, he was very funny, he made me laugh. It wasn't an experience. I remember, so when you're giving a speech, the same thing. It's, you want to give them an experience, that's my opinion. And there's very few rabbis that, that want to, a lot of them are just, they're reciting, facts and this and that. Who's a phenomenal speaker?
I was going to ask you, who do you admire?
I could listen, and I have listened a million times over and over again, Rabbi Ephraim Waxman. Mm-hmm. You know him?
I don't know him, but I know who he is.
You ever hear him speak? Fire and brimstone type, passionate, and he's great. And then there's a Rabbi Shmuel Silber, I think his name is. He's from Florida.
I've heard of him, yeah.
He did a speech on a course on Acher, Elisha Ben Avuya, which I must have listened to 100 times. And I've actually, some of the stuff that he mentioned there, I gave a eulogy for a comedian friend a few months ago, there's some stuff that I quoted in there. I mentioned his name, but like if you listen, it's like there's something those things people could relate to. When I was playing to like a completely non-orthodox crowd, and I'm telling them over stuff about this Rabbi and that.
I love how you describe giving a eulogy as playing to a crowd. Like that's
no, because at the same time, they know I'm a comedian. Also, they know the person that passed is a comedian. The person who passed, who even called me, when he was in the ICU or right before going there, about doing jokes at his he was. So it turns out, I wouldn't have felt comfortable not breaking in some jokes,
right.
Or
We got to continue at some point. What airline are you?
Delta.
I'm Daniel Steinberg, and you've been listening to The Maggid Method. For more information, visit maggidmethod.com, maggidmethod.com. Thanks so much.